So this is the GTMEDIA 15.6 inch portable gaming monitor. Now, full disclosure, I was sent this free for review. However, no money has exchanged hands. They will not get to see my review prior to me releasing this. And I will not be influenced in any way, shape or form by the fact I received this absolutely free. Now, this did ship from China. I was looking at the time at the 17-inch version that they offered. Unfortunately, that was not in stock. So I've been sent the 15.6. Now, who are GTMEDIA? In the main part on satellite and Bluetooth receiver type technology, this seems to be their first foray into the portable monitor space. I was a little bit taken back on what to expect from this device when I got it out of the box. Its levels were extremely low and I was slightly concerned about the colour and the contrast ratio. However, I needn't have been worried. Basically, there is a menu button around the back, which I'll show you in a moment, that enabled me to get to those settings and adjust it. I have found that I've needed to bring this right up. Now, it does claim that it supports 250 nits. I have managed to prove at least 200. I've not got the correct system to kind of really validate this, but at the moment, kind of me seeing 200 nits and comparing it to my laptop monitor, which actually advertises around 250 as well, I can see the brightness levels definitely are very much in tandem. Now, at the very back, it has one mini HDMI port and two Type-C, which again are fully featured ports. These support the display alt mode. It does have a 178-degree viewing angle. So let's just put that a little bit to the test. You can actually see that doesn't really alter much. So it has got really good viewing angles. It is an IPS panel. So I am fully expecting that to replicate really well with text. It does support multiple OS languages, so that's really good. Considering this comes from China, it was basically set up in English for me. And obviously from a support point of view, we do have a full 1080p display, so 1920 by 1080. The actual weight of the device on its own sits at a measly 650 grams, so it is very light to pick up and carry. It is actually lighter than the MSI I reviewed earlier this year. The brightness, as I mentioned, is 250 nits. It isn't a touchscreen, so I need to clear that up now. To be honest, in portable monitors, the whole touchscreen environment doesn't really float my boat that much anyway. The contrast ratio is 1000 to 1. The actual colour gamut is 16.7 with a 72% sRGB rating. You're not going to be using this monitor for colour grading though, so I think that's absolutely fine. The response time sits at around 5 to 6 milliseconds, which, considering it is a gaming monitor, may not be the best solution for everybody, but let's bear in mind this is portable, so the idea of this is you're probably going to use it for non-competitive gaming, so I think that's absolutely fine. And the pixels per inch sits at 142. So let me just unplug this and show you a little bit around the back. So if I fold that down, we've actually just got a very slim bezel. It's actually, the thickness, as you can see, is not very thick at all. We do have a recessed bit at the bottom here, which when I first got it was a bit concerned because I was like, well, how do you stand this up? But there is an adjustable mount here. You do have 2 screw mounts. Now I do wonder if these are for Visa compatibility, which would be quite useful if you could screw this to the wall, for example. And to make that stand up, you can have up to even an upside down view of that, so it does have, I think, a full 180 degree angle, which it does. Yeah, so now the good thing is down this side, this is where the connections lay. You have a USB-C, 2 of, and the HDMI. Hopefully that comes into focus there. On the other side is where you have the menu and volume button, as well as a auxiliary out, so for headphones. Now, this is a good thing and a bad thing. It's good that it's out the way. I'll be honest, when I first got this, I was looking around for buttons, couldn't find anything. Thankfully, I did manage to find it in the end. But what we have is the power and then like a menu button. So what I'm going to do is show you how that works. So by pressing on the menu button, you can see I get into the menu. You'll notice I've got the brightness set at full. That's just because it's where I like it to be. We can move up and down, so you've got different aspect ratios, color temp, which you can set and change, on-screen language, the transparency of this menu, whether you want HDR mode, I didn't mention that earlier, to support HDR, and what is the current signal source. You'll notice it does support FreeSync, so from a gaming perspective, that might be quite useful. Now selecting is a little bit awkward because of where the device currently sits. But once selected, it does seem to be a reasonably kind of responsive in that respect. So there's no lag in the menu. The actual menu navigates pretty well. It's just the fact it's tucked away. So this kind of sits in the good and the bad areas for me, because it's good that it's out the way, but when you are having to set up stuff, it is a little bit awkward. But yeah, you can, clicking once will allow you to go in the menu, and then if you want to change, you've got game mode, movie, etc. So you'll notice the difference between the two. So if I set that in game mode, what we will do is we'll put a game on here and see how it responds. It does seem to respond very effectively. I'm not in this game. You have to just bear in mind I am going to get a bit of lag because I'm running this on full-blown settings. But the actual response and the input lag from me actually pressing the button to something happening, bearing in mind I'm also using Bluetooth as well here, is very negligible. The colours are nice, they pop quite well. From a portable monitor perspective, you couldn't really ask for much more. I mean, we're looking at about 125 UK pounds or 120 potentially US dollars at the current time of me producing this. So a very reasonable price, to be honest. And if you compare that to the MSI, which is a slightly smaller monitor, which I'll bring into shot in a moment, you're probably getting quite a lot of bang for your buck if you can take into the fact of you're probably buying from a company you've never heard before. Now, I will stick the Amazon affiliate link in the description for you. I will also leave my own review on Amazon. I don't think they've got any reviews as it currently stands, so that people can actually see those reviews, because I think that will be quite nice. Yeah, you know, you kind of take a view into what you're expecting to see and get from one of these monitors, and I'm quite impressed. I mean, I'm certainly going to be using this. I've got a potential few use cases for this. It won't be gaming. These are usually quite useful in a work environment where you want to utilise a screen when you're taking your laptop out for a run somewhere else. But at least this way we can certainly utilise this. I'm definitely being carried by this team as well, which is always nice to see. So that is my review of the GTMedia 15.6F. Now, obviously it's a 15-inch monitor, it's gaming, it's advertising a 6ms. It's not going to be designed for professional gaming. It is a portable monitor. It can be self-powered by the USB-C. So anything that has display alt mode, you can absolutely just display out of. So even certain mobile phones, you'll be able to connect those up and they will absolutely work. It isn't the first time I've done a review on a portable monitor on this channel. I've recently done a review of the MSI. In comparison to that one, obviously this one has some thinner bezels. It does have built-in speakers as well. It obviously isn't MSI, but I'll be honest, the actual picture quality between the two, you can't really notice the difference. They're pretty good panels inside. So, you know, looking at that kind of £120 mark for one of these monitors is pretty much a good bang for your buck. So the things I didn't like is, like I mentioned in the review, was around the placement of that menu button, and maybe the menu button itself, but I absolutely understand why they've done it. So it can be a good thing and a bad thing, because obviously you're not likely to knock it. If they had it on the underside, the likelihood is it would get knocked a lot. If you had it on the side, again, it kind of, because it's a portable monitor, right, it would give it, you know, potential wear and tear from moving it in and out of laptop bags, for example. I will be really excited to see if GTMedia do send me the 17-inch one that they've said that they will. I'd be really pleased to actually look at that, because having one with a slightly larger footprint would be really, really useful. However, the use case I have for this one in particular is this is likely to go somewhere near one of my network cabs. I'm going to connect this into one of my machines and have it not run as a portable monitor, but as a nice little side piece that can sit there and display stuff like Grafana, for example, in a dashboard, obviously being low power because it's going to plug directly into USB-C alt mode, for example. If you have liked this review and video, please hit the like and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time.